Hi everyone, it's Telethon here. Welcome to my second or third podcast, depending. And I'd like to introduce my special guest this week. And we have...
Hi, my name is Will. I go by MK Toasty.
So today we're going to discuss Evo Japan and its core values. So...
Let's give like a summary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the DOA. It happened during the DOA presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got... Are they models? Or are they like...
Japanese porn stars.
Oh, they're actually porn stars.
They're actually porn stars, yes.
Yeah, so they got some Japanese porn stars to do some cosplay. Like, fool
Was
around.
that even cosplay?
I don't know if it's cosplay, but they kind of fool around with each other on stage. You know, like grabbing each other's tits. Can I say tits on this
Yeah,
podcast?
you can say tits.
Alright. Yeah. It was, like, at first, it's like, oh, this is, like, it's really surprising that this is the
It's
direction.
actually not. If you've been keeping up with the game as long as I have, you wouldn't realize it because some of the costumes in DOA 5 have literally been, like, butt floss.
Yeah, I know that, but when 6 was first revealed, they were like, we're probably gonna, like, tone down...
Did you know they did that for 5?
They said the same thing for
They
5?
said the exact same thing for DOA 5.
Oh my god. Okay, well, for you... So I guess for you, you're thinking, like, oh, fool me once, shame on me.
The thing is what really cracked me up about most of it. I guess I'll just go on a little bit of a tirade. If you're gonna put it as a tits and ass game, just be honest.
Yeah, there are games like that.
Just be honest.
Those games aren't popular in the mainstream, but, like, you know, there are games like that. And DOA is, like, everyone knows that DOA is like that. That's its reputation. That's why they made the beach volleyball game. That's why they were, like, the pioneers of boob physics. And by the way, DOA's boob physics is, like...
the jello physics.
It ranges from completely ridiculous to
Stiff.
Well, some of it is, like, it's surprisingly accurate, you know? I feel like some... Okay, let's not get into this. Okay.
Surprisingly accurate, yeah.
Okay, but anyway...
So...
It caused a big controversy. Because, like, halfway through the ad that they were streaming, the people who were running Evo cut off the stream, and then Mr. Blizzard set up an apology.
Okay, I'm gonna say this one thing. If it was like a couple of seconds having a cheap laugh at it, that would have been fine. The fact they went on 2 minutes on a live stream, and I don't even know what they're saying, but it's like, oh yeah, I like I got that on a Friday night. You know, it's really that. I don't understand Japanese, but in my heart, that's what she said.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that's the way they want to advertise the game, it is pretty, like, in bad taste.
It is in bad taste.
Is in bad taste, in my opinion, but, like, at the same time, you know what? Like, if that's what you want to do, just, like, embrace it.
But do you agree with any publicity is good publicity?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
And unfortunately, people are going to talk about it. We're talking about it right now.
Exactly.
We're having a couple of folks listening to this.
This is causing more interest. Just causing more interest in the game, so...
This is when I'm going to argue that it's not exactly a good thing. People are not going to view it as a serious fighter. Do you know, like...
Yeah, but does every fighting game have to be a serious tournament-level fighter in order to be successful?
Yes.
We have games like the Dragon Ball games, right? And like the Naruto games. And the UFC games.
I think it's because more of the direction we're heading with esports, stuff like that. You and I both play Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because you'll actually see people toss around like a 3-hour video like it's nothing. It's like, oh yeah, there's a lot of footage of this player.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, here's a matchup with Thing, and literally like it's candy. But one of the things I do find in particularly funny is, I got into a conversation with this a while ago, that there's a lot of people who enjoy fighting games, but they can't play it at the most optimal level, and they still would like to see that at a proper tournament level.
Like any fighting game.
Any fighting game. Like when you're really into it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
I know
like,
what you mean.
You're getting into a game, it's like, okay, what are some top level players I can look at? What's going on, and like, can I catch this at Evo?
Yeah, I feel you. Like, there's some games that you just don't want to play, or you can't play, but you still like
find it very interesting.
Yeah, and there's people who just love to watch it. You don't always have to be devoting yourself into learning this game, but you can definitely like make a spectacle out of it, and that's that's the same thing with like regular sports.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Not every Joe sitting on the couch watching the Super Bowl is like putting the time in to train and become a professional football player.
I guess the main question I had is, why would you go out of your way to piss off? Not go out of your way, but they knew stuff like this was inappropriate.
Yeah, they did.
They could have told the models, like, yeah, keep it cute for a minute, just like don't go ridiculous with it, or like get some shots.
Well, it was more than the models, right? It was even like the guy who was playing, like messing around in viewing the angles.
Yeah.
So it's like it's no wonder why
shot down. And funny enough, they had a KOF reveal. They revealed Mai from King of Fighters to be back in the game. And
wait. In which game?
Mai from KOF
in DOA. Okay.
And she's coming back for 6.
That makes sense.
It does make sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But it's pretty bad when you actually had like proper reveals to get to, and it's like they couldn't even do that.
That's true. Well, if they kept things a little bit more grown up, then. Mm-hmm. That being said, though, I think they should have let the whole thing rock. Just let's do it. Like Mr. Wizard. You kind of
he got more backlash for his comment.
Exactly.
Which I'm gonna get into this whole argument, gore and then sexualization, and why we're okay with each. Any other thoughts on that?
Not really. Let's get on with the Mr. Wizard comment. Okay. So, Mr. Wizard, he ended up, after the stream went down and after, the dust had settled, Mr. Wizard tweeted...
The dust didn't settle at all!
Oh, no, the dust did settle. He just made more of it. He tweeted like, oh, we're very sorry that, like, you guys had to see that. This does not stand up to the FGC's core values.
He doesn't know half of them are degenerates, right? And I'm not even trying.
Yeah, exactly. Like, first of all, most of the people who are watching that are probably, like, down to see that. And even if the people who say it's
a little bit... It actually took up time for KOF.
Wait.
Like, it was happening on another stream when a KOF Grand Finals were, so people actually stopped watching it for Dead or Alive. So I think that's why there was a little more irritation.
Well, now I feel bad for KOF, but at the same time...
Especially because it's like, hey...
Was it KOF 14?
14.
Who cares? I'm done with that game.
KOF 14 had a fun run.
It did, but not anymore.
The latest patch, and I have so many grievances.
Yeah, same.
With the latest patch.
We can have a totally other, like, separate podcast this how much we hate KOF 14. Because I don't like it either. But, yeah, it did take up time from KOF, but, like, one thing I've heard people saying is, like, who is Mr. Wizard to put himself to say that he represents the entire FGC? Says that this,
or all of Evo for that matter.
Yeah, say, hey, this is against our core values as the FGC, and I can say that because I'm Mr. Wizard and I run Evo and I store 20 McRibs in my freezer.
I think he meant more in an esports sort of way.
That's exactly what he meant, but it
didn't come across as that.
Yeah, he could have worded it better. He could have worded it better so it sounds like he's not pissing off the entire community. What would have sounded like, he's not just trying to suck up to his sponsors. One of his sponsors...
They paid him, though. Dead or Alive actually paid him.
Yeah, exactly. Dead or Alive is one of his sponsors.
Yeah. And they were just like, yeah, fuck it, we don't care. It was like, lol, you're going to buy the game anyway, and then we're going to actually do a DLC and then put 38 costumes immediately for day one that you're going to buy. Do you know what's funny? I can't even get mad at them for that.
Because they did the same thing with DOA 5, right?
Oh no, God, ridiculous. Did you know DOA 5 had around 1,000?
Yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard that. There was one thing that statistic that I saw was ridiculous. What was the highest, what was the most expensive costume in that game? How much did it cost?
I actually forgot.
I heard it was like $100. One costume.
I can't think of that right now. I think it was more of a season pass that might have been $100.
$100 for a season pass
for costumes.
For costumes. So you're spending. So they're saying, hey, we're gonna make so many costumes that's gonna cost over $100. If you want to buy them all right now, there you go. $100. We'll give you Nothing to actually affect the gameplay, but you get lots of costumes.
Yeah, they didn't really do that much balance patches by the end of the game's life. Which I actually find funny because top 5 of that game broke so many rules.
Maybe that just goes to show how much they care about the actual like tournament life of this game.
Oh no, people still played the game.
I know people still play the game, but do most people know DOA for being a very in-depth competitive experience? Or it's more of a shallow tits and ass fest?
I think it's funny because I got into this conversation with someone with Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive is very fun at a low level. Like a low to a low medium level. When you start understanding a lot of intricacies with the game and understand how ugly the game can get. I'll give an example. So if I counter hit someone with a jab, mostly in a lot of 3D games it's like, oh, I got counter hit with a jab, my turn ends. You get counter hit with a jab in DOA, it's like, now I have 32 options to go off this.
Can you combo?
Yes. You can abuse the stun system. So that's one of the main issues in Dead or Alive. But I guess we should have expected something along this line. And a very fun argument is bringing back this argument about how American audiences are okay with a lot of gore and not sexualization.
Yeah. The biggest comparison was the showcase of Mortal Kombat 11 versus DOA 6.
Which, oddly enough, the game isn't as gory as previous iterations.
MK11?
Yeah.
I feel that, but I don't think it's about how much gory it can be compared to the previous ones. And it's not
I guess it matters to a small degree.
But it's not like the developers said, like, oh, we're going to try and make it less gory. It just happens to be a little bit less gory. Like, people want it to be more gory. People want it to be more gory, and people want DOA to be more sexualized. At least the casuals do. Obviously, the competitive players, they want their game to be taken seriously.
One thing I did respect Ed Boon for saying, like, we want this game to be more footsie-oriented. We want this game to take a lot more time and just be...
Yeah, not like 50-50 simulator.
Just run in and do a 50-50.
They took out running. Dash in and do a 50-50.
Certain characters do have that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more like a mechanic and you have to use a meter for it.
I see.
Which I guess is a lot more fair. People seem to forget how much flack Mortal Kombat has gotten in over time. Because there was this whole thing back in the days where it's like, oh, well, you're ripping people's heads off, it's going to affect kids, there's going to be school shooters.
Yeah.
All that other stupidity, which the game's used to that amount of controversy. Like,
yeah, of course. DOA is surprisingly not, though.
No.
Because people don't view it as something that's like, you know,
why should
hazardous for your health. They just see it as a laughingstock.
Yeah. Why should we take this game seriously? Where at least Mortal Kombat had a really good tournament life for a lot of times. Like, not saying DOA didn't. DOA gets a lot of notice at final round, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the Canadian DOA scene was very, very small. Like, with Gear, we had a very healthy life. With Mortal Kombat, we have, I think, 3 or 4 top players in the world in Canada.
Yeah, Canada's actually godlike at NRS games. As a community, I think NRS is not very strong because a lot of the players are just
they just prefer online. Yeah. But with DOA, it was just mostly me, Force of Nature, Jeff Core, a few other people, and then we weren't actually we weren't mostly at a level where we could go toe-to-toe to a lot of top American players. So, did you know Mortal Kombat's actually, you're not allowed to purchase it in Japan?
I did not know that.
They actually have a rating system, and when they think a game is way too gory, they won't actually allow it to even be purchased.
That's interesting.
So any Japanese Mortal Kombat footage you've seen, they've actually had to like go out of their way, import the game in order to do that.
You know, one thing I've heard the thing about the Japanese, most of them just don't even like the game to begin with. I've heard with the Japanese opinion on Mortal Kombat, they don't like it for like a few reasons. For one, the block button, which I totally am behind. I don't like block buttons in fighting games. And the way the way MK structure has their block button is it makes it really, really hard to play that game on stick.
Oh.
If I have my stick here, right, I've got 4 buttons. Mm-hmm. I need to use 4 buttons. And if I want to put my block button, it's got to be like I personally put it where my ring finger is.
Yeah.
So that means I have to reach for my ring finger every time I want to block, which isn't really natural because you don't want to naturally press down your heavy punch button.
Yeah. It's actually funny because Virtua Fighter is still so heavily predominantly played in that game as a block button.
But that one's it's only 3 buttons.
Yeah.
So you go punch, kick, and then you can have block on your thumb.
Yep.
That's a lot more. It's a lot more intuitive to block with like thumb. Same thing with Soul Calibur. I said it with A, B, and C on top, and then on the D, the light kick button. That one's my block. I instinctively press that one. That works fine.
Yeah.
Another thing the Japanese don't like about Mortal Kombat is how, especially MKX, the running. How you have to like press another button to run, and there's like a stamina gauge that determines how long you can run for. Where other games, you just dash.
No, the main reason for that is infinites actually could occur.
Oh, okay. So it's like an infinite. I guess that's right because Mortal Kombat has like really lenient juggles.
No, not even juggles, like standing infinites.
Oh.
MKX was plagued with a Liu Kang infinite. So he actually, during one of his attacks, his bicycle kick, you know the one where
I know.
like... Yeah, so basically he could actually time it in a specific way where he could refill the stamina gauge if he does a metered version of it. And so he actually had a block infinite, and the most fucked up thing with that is you actually had to get hit to get out of it. So counterintuitive on so many levels, right? You have to get hit to get out of an infinite.
And normals in that game do chip damage. I remember
Yep.
I remember I heard that the beta for Mortal Kombat 9, there was a block infinite where it's just standing punch over and over again. You just press standing 2 over and over again. It's a block infinite. So back to core values.
Yeah, I think the funniest thing is I ended up seeing a stream. I think Emery something, I can't remember his name right now. It was actually funny how upset he was getting during the whole thing because he's like, oh, they just made a mockery out of the whole thing. And one of the biggest Dead or Alive players during the time, Master, was like, well, at least people are looking at the game. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever been an issue, people looking at the game.
Yeah. The issue is always people taking it seriously. But back to this core values discussion, right? What I want to know is, what are the FGC's core values?
Memes.
Yeah.
It's just memes. We like it when people, like, act the fool and get away with it.
One thing I think is honestly, not just like, a meme or like toxic fighting game culture, but one thing is one thing I think is actually a part of fighting game culture is blow-ups.
Oh, we love a good blow-up.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's nothing
and a good comeback.
Yep. Like a redemption.
And 3/4 life combos. Especially when it's out of nowhere.
Yeah, we love that. Like, we love
have you seen someone getting, like, counter hit with something stupid and then their life bar just going to 0? It's great.
I've seen that all the time. I'm a mid player.
I bet that happened to me. I got hit. Counter hit with, like,
with an anchor slam.
I'm like, I'm gonna wake up VCL. 6H bounces me, and it's like, I didn't want to live anyways. Yeah,
for real. Blow-ups are something that we cherish. You know, like, so
just like fun matches.
It depends on what you mean. What do you define as a fun match?
I mean, don't get me wrong. The more we study games, the more we prefer, like, higher level play. But, like, when someone gets away with foolishness and they know they get away with foolishness, it can be really funny sometimes. Seeing someone getting hit, like, with an overhead 15 times in a row because the other guy does not want to budge.
Yeah. But we also, another thing we value is drama. You know, we love to feel this, like, the story behind the story and the lore behind the players.
Depends on the goon.
I'll give you an example. Sonic Fox versus Goichi in Dragon Ball.
Okay, yeah. That's a really good example, actually. I was going to give an example like Low Tier God or whatever.
No. Yeah. What's another one? Isn't it Knee versus Saint in Tekken.
Yes.
Yes.
They've been going at that game for Tekken 5?
Yeah.
I want to say 5.
And even players that, they're not rivals or anything.
Yeah.
But they're just like,
you want to see really good players go at it and see like...
the OG Street Fighter players. If you see something like Daigo versus Tokido. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Daigo versus Tokido is a classic. One of the ones that always sticks out in my mind was Evo 2015 Street Fighter 4. It was, if you look at it, it's one of the most boring and long and drawn out matches you could possibly watch. It was 30 minutes long, a loser's final set. Infiltration versus Gamerby.
Didn't like... Oh, I don't remember that match.
That was the one where Gamerby picked Elena and just ran away and healed for the entire time.
I remember that, and I remember a lot of people got mad at Elena, but they don't remember how bad Elena was in Street Fighter 3.
That doesn't justify it.
That doesn't
justify it. Like, just because a character's bad in one game doesn't mean you... And to be honest...
well, that's why Chun-Li's not supposed to be good anymore. After 3, she's like, no more!
Well, it depends on the game, because it's like, you can argue that she's good in 4, and you can argue that she's now good...
But she wasn't 3.
She wasn't 3, but like, I mean... What about Yun? What do you say about Yun, then? Why is Yun top tier in every game that he's been in? Yun is a top 5 character in Street Fighter 4.
Ultra?
Yes. He won Canada Cup.
I don't...
Yeah, he won Canada Cup.
Which, we're gonna have that as the next podcast.
Hey, what? Did I say Canada Cup? I'm an idiot. I meant Capcom Cup. He won that. Maybe he won Canada Cup too.
Same level of fuckery.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's pretty much it for what we have for core values.
Yes.
So
our core values are not about censorship. Whether it's gore.
I mean, don't be ridiculous.
Okay, I'm not talking... Okay, obviously there's a ridiculous stuff like, holding up an SNK Heroines banner saying, but pre-order this now! Pre-order this now! Love this game, pre-order this now! SNK Heroines!
Should have just licked the poster. It just would have just made more sense. Just like, there's my figurine. Oh, thank God I'm actually recording this and you're not actually seeing that right now. That was ugly. Shilling gets a little ridiculous sometimes. But yeah, that's another conversation.
It depends on what you define as shilling. People only say it's shilling when they don't like the product.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually did like Sam's show for a short time when we played it.
Yeah.
What was that stupid thing
we used to do? I still love Sam's show.
What was that stupid thing we used to do with
Mizuki?
No, Guido. Oh, God. But I'm actually going to have a Sam Show podcast whenever that game comes out. I have no idea.
Oh, the new one. Yeah, there's been no information on it.
So, anyways, thank you guys for coming to my podcast. I'd like to give a big thanks to my guest, Will.
Thank you, sir. Follow at UToronto Street Fighter.
Yep.
At UToronto SF.
And they don't even play Street Fighter anymore, funny enough. So it's usually like Guilty Gear,
Eunice, and Tekken.
Tekken, really?
Yeah, we play Tekken. None of us are very good, but we play Tekken.
Okay.
We got the SNK guys who show up. We play some Sam Show and some KOF. The old ones. We don't play 14.
14 kind of rode itself into the ground, but that's enough of that. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm out.